you are not alone, okay? There is not an iPhone cinematographer alive that does not curse the inbuilt battery on an iPhone and say that when you're filming, the power just seems to evaporate out of your phone. It just seems to just gallop out at an amazing rate. And that is because filming on your iPhone is probably one of the most battery intensive actions you can do, okay? Your screen is on all of the time, the image signal processor is working all of the time, you're constantly saving things to the flash memory in your phone. So there's so much stuff going on there, and it actually does take up a hell of a lot of your battery power. So what I want to do is share with you some of my quick, fast, winning tips to conserve battery power in your iPhone, to run it more efficiently and get that shot next time when you're out and about. Now, before we even get into any tips on conserving battery on your iPhone, I need you to go into settings. I need you to find battery, and then I want you to turn battery percentage on, okay? It is absolutely crucial that you know percentage by percentage point what your battery is doing when you're filming. You need to be able to monitor that very, very tightly. That's the first step. Now, whilst we're still in settings mode, I want you to go and navigate your way to background app refresh and disable it, okay? It's super important that that's not going on in the background whilst you're trying to video things. Why waste battery power on refreshing different apps that you've got stored on your phone when you're trying to video something? Now, this one might seem incredibly obvious, but just go through and close down all the apps you're not needing to use while you're filming on your iPhone. If I look at my phone, midway through the day, it's not unusual for me to have 20, 30 apps open at any one time, but I'm probably only using 2 or 3 in any one given moment of the day. So going through and closing down all of those unused apps is super important to conserving battery power in your iPhone. Other things you can try include turning Bluetooth off, in fact, turning Wi-Fi off. And look, if you don't need to be in contact with the outside world, flight mode is a fantastic way of conserving battery power because it shuts down all the unnecessary communication sides of your phone while you're trying to get that epic shot. What about low power mode? Now, I don't know about you, but I usually only ever see that message come up when my battery gets below 20%. And then I go, oh, that's right, low power mode. Well, you can actually turn it on regardless of where your battery power is actually at. You can put it on 100%, and it's going to help you run your iPhone way more efficiently. It's going to take control of your screen brightness, the amount of times it goes to sleep, all these sorts of things. So people that actively use low power mode right from the get-go when their phone is fully charged find they'll get a couple of extra hours juice out of their iPhone battery. Dimming your screen brightness is a fantastic way to save big bundles of energy out of your iPhone, okay? Because like I said before, your screen consumes big battery power. So if you're doing something non-image critical, so in other words, I understand if you're setting up a shot, you want to lock your focus and your exposure, you might need a fair bit of brightness in your screen to do that because you want to make sure you're exposing correctly. However, after that activity, if you're just navigating through apps or emails or any of that sort of stuff, make sure you turn your brightness right down to the bare minimum. It's a great habit to get into, and as soon as you start dimming that screen brightness, you'll see much more battery efficiency coming out of your iPhone. AirDrop mode is another thing that constantly uses battery just while you're navigating the world. It's constantly scanning for other devices and other phones and iOS devices that it could connect to. Now, unless you're using that to actually swap and exchange files, why have it on in the background? So turn it off. Unless you're actually using it, turn off AirDrop mode because it's still utilizing battery even while you're not thinking. Then of course there's very simple things you can try, such as turning your volume down, making sure that that speaker's not working as hard as it needs to, and even turning off the vibrate mode within your phone, okay? That vibrate action actually consumes battery power as well every time that's ringing or zinging in your pocket. So turn it off and it'll help you save some juice as well. Now for me, it's a basic rule whenever I go filming on my iPhone anywhere, I make sure I carry 2 important things with me. My charging cable or multiple charging cables, and spare battery. Now when I say iPhone cable, I don't mean the standard Apple issue, what is this, 2-3 foot kind of number. It's all right, but it's not going to survive being wound up time and time again and thrown in a bag. They tend to kink and break and do all sorts of those crazy things. The other thing is these short Apple supplied cables you get with your iPhone don't really deliver the goods when you're out and about, for instance, filming with an iPhone on a tripod during an interview. This cable's not going to even reach the ground to plug into power, let alone a battery pack. You'd have to keep it strapped to your tripod somehow, and that's a bit awkward. This here is the baby I'm talking about. This is a 6-foot long nylon braided cable. In fact, I think its name is actually K-BLE. I've got about 10 of these just sitting in my bag, ready to go, because sometimes I'm filming with multiple iPhones and I want to keep each of them connected to power as I'm filming. At 6 foot long, it is very useful in that it can actually get to the floor level, get back to ground to a wall unit, or I can attach it to a battery on the ground as well if I need to. You can also order these in longer lengths, 9 foot, I've seen them longer than that again. So braided cables are intensely useful if you need to shoot for extended periods of time and you know you need to be connected to power. Keep your eye out for them. Now, like I said, I never leave home or work without a spare battery pack in my camera bag. Regardless of how many iPhones I'm filming with and regardless of what their battery state is, I recharge all of my iPhones before I go out and shoot so they're 100%, and then I turn them off so that they conserve that battery power right from the get-go until I need it. Now, what I want to show you is what I call some monster batteries. Okay, I'm only going to show you 2 different kinds of batteries. There's an immense range of rechargeable battery packs out there right now. There's lots and lots of choice. What I would suggest you do is steer away from the tiny battery packs. Okay, the small things that fit in your pocket or hang on your keyring. They're just not going to give you enough juice to recharge your phone time and time again, and they won't last very long. What I'd love to show you is what I call some monster batteries. And starting off this conversation is this one by a company called Roamproof, and it's the SOS 20K. Now, it's called 20K because it actually holds 20,000 milliamps of power, and it discharges that via 4 different USB ports, 2 in either end of the battery. And then we've also got a micro USB connector there to actually recharge from a wall unit. However, the other amazing thing this particular battery has is a solar recharge panel on one side. So if you're out and about shooting, you can put this on the dashboard of your car, you can put it on a rock if you're outside, and it'll actually recharge the battery just from the sun. So that's a fantastic initiative. Now, a battery like this at 20,000 milliamps is going to recharge your iPhone up to 11 times, which is pretty impressive, and that's why I like this. All right, are you ready for the big kahuna? This battery is the most massive battery I own, and it's the thing I use when I'm going out on intensive shoots where I know I'm going to need lots and lots of battery power and I won't have access to mains power. This is called the Hyperjuice MBP222. It looks relatively simple. It's had a lot of wear and tear, this one. It's been out in a lot of shoots with me and I've owned it for a couple of years already. It's only got the one USB out. However, it also has DC out too, which means I can also power my MacBook Pro from this particular battery. If I'm flying interstate or flying internationally, I can get, I can fly pretty much anywhere in the world and still run my MacBook from this, so I can still edit on the hop if I'm traveling in economy class like I usually am. This battery is fantastic because it's 61,000 milliamps, okay? Which means it's good enough for around 33 to 35, maybe even 36 full iPhone recharges. That's an intensive amount of power in one battery pack. If you are going to use something like this Hyperjuice pack though, you really do need to just switch your mind on the day before a shoot, because it's going to take up to 6 hours, 5.5 to 6 hours to fully charge this battery before you go out on your adventure. But it's the Hyperjuice MBP222, and I couldn't live without it. So there you go, there's a couple of tips for not only conserving the power on your inbuilt battery in your iPhone, but how to also make sure that you travel anywhere in the world with enough power to complete the shoot, complete the task that you're assigned to do.